Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, the 12th of October. Took me a little while to remember. But it is cold today. It was down into the high 50s last night. I believe it's still 59 right now. I've got my sweater on today. But, a lot has happened this past week. I was a bit of a thief during the week. My neighbor across the street, her nephew was doing some work on her front porch. So I happened to wander by and asked if he did that for a living, and he said yes. So we exchanged numbers, and he does sheetrocking and plastering. So I've got him coming to finish the inside of the garconniere. Yay! I had a tree fall, oh gosh, now it's probably about 10 years ago. And it fell onto the roof it fell into the backyard, but pushed a little on the roof of the garconniere and cracked some of the sheetrock at the joints. So I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. It is so nice when you get in touch with someone that'll do it and you can take it off of your to-do list and just flat out get it done. The only thing I have to do between now and whenever he calls is figure out a paint color for the room. I'm not going to return it to yellow. I'm kind of partial to the color of this room. This room also used to be a yellow. And this is really a terracotta orange, if you will. I wanted to match my terracotta pots. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do out in the garage. So that was one thing. And let's see, what else happened? Oh, the neighbor, the next door down, got a new roof. And you may have guessed it. I was very impressed with the way the roofers came and finished in one day. That also happened with this neighbor, but it was the next neighbor up. So I took a picture of their truck with the number on it and called them. And I am under contract to get a new roof put on this house. Yay! On October 28th is the estimated date, depending on weather. And it's going to be a fortified roof, which means my insurance coverage will drop immensely. Well, my coverage will stay the same. My premium will drop immensely. So that is a good thing, as Martha Stewart would say. The other thing that happened this week was I was scheduled to get a new security system installed. You see, what's happening in this neighborhood is AT&T is cutting its landline. And my security system is connected to the landline. So they gave me an option, AT&T did. They said I could either upgrade my system or else leave. So after 31 years with AT&T here, plus growing up with them, I figured I didn't know what to do, but I had to have a security system. So I got the security system guy out. They were going to install a new system with all kinds of fancy bells and whistles. And come to find out, it does not work for a detached garconniere. I would have to have a separate system installed in the garconniere, whereas this system already covers it. It has, radio connections between the two. So I opted not to get that done, but instead they were able to upgrade my connection. So they actually put in, they called it a radio, but it's actually it's basically a cell phone, but it's hooked into the system. So it detached me from AT&T, and now it goes directly to ADT, the company that handles my security. So old system, I didn't have to learn anything new. I didn't have to do any plastering when things changed. Yay. And they got me away from AT&T. And I called them and canceled my service. Yay! So another savings, no more $70 a month for basic landline. So a lot of stuff has happened this week. Not a lot in the garden, although I did do some gardening. You can still see the Phalaenopsis orchid is doing well. I kind of don't want this video to start turning into a this old house, but you're going to see a lot of work being done here by the end of the year. It's a perfect time to have a roof done because I know plants are going to be destroyed and they will come back. But the fall is a good time to do that because when frost comes, they're going to more or less be kicked back anyway. So this is the optimum time to get roofing things done. The only thing I'll still have left to do is the deck. I need a new deck, but that deck, I think I got the good out of it. I bought it with the house, and it's probably about 40 years old. This orchid is still doing fine. I see there's one dead right there. I'll pick that out later. This one, however, is still looking good. Still have my carnations. That's not the one from a month ago. I get them from there. If you're in, oh, there's Miss Mimi. Good morning, Miss Mimi. Yeah. Say hello. Now go in your box. That's her box over there on the bed. What did I want? Oh, I wanted to also show you the African violet is in full bloom. I have 3. And they're old African violets. I've had them for like over 10 years. And one is typically always in bloom. This one likes it. Since it's blooming, I'm leaving the light on day and night. That is an LED light. And LED lights seem to be great for plants because African violets love them as well as Phalaenopsis. This week's alstroemeria. Last week's alstroemeria and my epern. I had that epern for a few years, and I was always afraid to put flowers in it, and I got to thinking, well, heck, you're 70 years old, use the darn thing. If it breaks, it breaks. So I'm starting to put flowers in my epern now. No real fruit, though. That's fake fruit. Real fruit doesn't last all that long. Maybe for Thanksgiving, I might do real fruit. Oh, flowers. I get my flowers, believe it or not, if you're from the Southeast especially, there's a grocery store chain called Publix. And they're a little on the pricey side. However, they've got some unique stuff, and their flowers are the cheapest in town. You can get 7 carnations for $4. That bunch of alstroemeria, don't want you to get in the light, is also $4. So it's hard to beat $4 for a handful of flowers that last quite a long time. Oh, enough said inside. Let's go outside and take a look. I did put out a short this week around my opuntia cactus. It collapsed. That is what the opuntia cactuses do. And it will grow perfectly, or will grow happily that way. And what I have decided to do is nothing at this point, because the optimum time for taking cuttings from an opuntia cactus is mid to late spring, when it starts showing signs of growth. If I take cuttings now and put them in the ground, they may or may not last through the winter because they're not going to have a lot of time to set roots before the cold weather comes. So I'm just going to leave it as is and wait till the spring to deal with it. I have been pondering how to fill the spot behind the opuntia because you really couldn't get back there with a mower. So my plan is to open this up as a bed, and I will eventually leave this opuntia down like it is, but cut these pieces off that are coming into the parking pad spot and replant them here. The new shoot that I had planted this year got crushed when the opuntia fell. So that one that I had planted is no more. So like I say, I just decided, you know, that opuntia has been with me for so long. It's perfectly happy as it is. So let's just let it stay that way until the spring, and I'll deal with it then. Of course, you could take, like I say, you could cut it now and put it up, but there's a question as to whether it'll last through the winter. The nice thing is, by being closer to the ground, it's in a slightly warmer location, so it will survive winters better. I've told y'all many times that I brought some up to my Zone 6 garden in New York State before I sold that property, and it grew flat along the ground, and it was perfectly happy in a Zone 6. However, it never got more than a foot tall. It got like 6 foot across, which is an odd kind of shape. And let me tell you, it is a pain to weed around that. But enough about opuntias. Over here, all is looking good right now. I'm not going to do too much more here until the roof work is done, because I'm sure the ferns and other things will be crushed. However, again, as I said before, winter is coming and they're going to be dying back anyway. So you have to pick a time to get stuff done, and I've picked now. That palm is looking really nice. I don't get to see the pindo from that angle very much. I think you can also see the, gotta make sure that you don't get flashed in the sun. You can also see the Canary Island date palm is looking good. And it smells absolutely fabulous back here because the loquats are starting to bloom. The flowers aren't much, but they are very fragrant. They have how many petals? 5 petals. They almost look like strawberry blossoms. Don't smell like them, but they look like them. Oh, the other thing I did was I tied up my fig. It was starting to sag because of we did get rains last week, but we got a couple of days of not real hard winds, but winds. And it really did a number on the plants. So I went ahead and tied them up. Figs are still coming. They're not turning black yet. This is a, oh, well, so much for that one. Black Italian fig. That's why I say it's got to turn black. Bananas are undoubtedly going to get damaged. I cut as many away from the roof as I possibly could, but you know, it is what it is. I need the roof. My roof doesn't leak, but the problem is my insurance company doesn't like me having a 26-year-old roof. So I have to have a special separate rider for hurricanes, and that separate rider is $1,500 a year. And once when the roof gets fixed, I'll be covered by my regular insurance company, and the price for that coverage will be $100. So needless to say, it's a significant savings when you get a new roof, especially if it's a certified, fortified roof. But enough said about all of this. And needless to say, I had done a lot of research this week. I did find out how to check if someone is licensed and bonded if they're not in there, if it doesn't say on their website. You can go to the Better Business Bureau and get their license number. And then in Alabama, at least, you call the licensing department. There are 2, one for commercial, one for residential. And they'll call up the file on the company and tell you if their license is valid and still active. And they can also tell you if they're bonded. I mentioned that to the company that's doing the roof. I said, you know, they've only been in business for 3 years, but they are licensed and bonded. I said, you need to put that in your webpage somewhere. It's on their contract, but it's also in the fine print on the contract. The garconniere is looking good. Oh, there's this darn thing again. Just break some of it off. I can concentrate and work on these gardens, especially in the back corner, since that's not going to get damaged in any way by the new roof. So it'll give me a chance to focus in on those areas. Speaking about scents, this is an absolutely beautiful ginger lily. It's called butterfly ginger, of course, because these look like butterflies. I did replant the trough. Oh, I failed to mention it in the front yard, but these are the lavenders. I bought one and put it in here. Goodwin Creek. And it's already, the one in the front, I planted these both at the same time. The one in the front yard has grown a couple of inches already in a couple of weeks. It likes its life. This one, not so much. It dries out more here, but lavender kind of likes dry, so it didn't die. So that's okay. My, what are these? Not trout lilies. Toad lilies are still looking good. This boxwood is sending out some shoots, so it's possible it may recover yet. But yeah, here everything is looking pretty good. Just waiting on camellias to come and start blooming. These bananas I haven't touched yet. I will tackle them this week. I did do some planting this week. Just haven't gotten to those points yet. When I get there, let me know. I've got the fountains going. The ground palm, or as I was told it, pleated palm, is really liking its life there. Lady palm is doing well. I'll tell you what, this coleus really likes its life. I'll definitely take some cuttings of that one. The one in the back is from cuttings I took from a plant I had probably 5 years ago now. I may let that one go because it might be time to get some fresh coloration in the area. My angel's trumpet is doing well here. That was one of the cuttings I took this last spring. It's in the shade, heavier shade than it used to be, because I planted here all the time and it would grow 6 foot tall. I don't think that one's going to make any blooms this year, but we shall see. Hopefully it'll live through the winter. David is getting swallowed up again by the Fatzias. In here, there is some turning of colors on the kumquats. They should make for Thanksgiving. Oh, there's Felix. Felix doesn't have a fluffy tail. He's a ginger cat with no fluffy tail. Fluffy is a ginger cat with a fluffy tail. See this? Angel's trumpet is doing really well. In fact, I have to keep hacking this back because it splayed out from its own weight and was making it so that you could not walk through here to the tool shed side of the garage. And here I did what I've been threatening to do. I bought a couple cryptomeria. These are some kind of a small dragon. It's got dragon in the name, but they only get about 3 foot tall. They're not going to get the 6 foot like the one in the front yard. They're extremely slow growers, but since I had luck with them in the front yard, I thought I would try this. The cypress that I had here had died, of course, and it was about the 4th one in that spot. I was able to pull it up, and the root ball never got beyond its pot. It wasn't root bound or anything. But I did find out upon doing some research that Chamaecyparis are very prone to root rot. And that may have been what was going on here, because when I saw it starting to turn yellow, I applied more water. And if it was turning yellow because of too much water, that's kind of a self-defeating thing. Fruits are actually making on this particular Pindo palm. Yeah, here everything is looking good. I didn't do any other work over here. I'll tackle this some more next week. Oh, I did do one thing. You can't really notice it, but back in there, I straightened up the, I can never remember the name of that. It's a yellow thing. I have a tag here somewhere, but it's not worth looking up. I'll put it in the subtitle. But it is related to beans, and you can see why. Cassia. It had bloomed early this year. And that one, for some reason, fell over. And so I put a metal stake in the ground and was able to stake it up. Let me get out of here. That jasmine, you can see, is quite rampant. It latched onto my palm and is starting to wander its way into the palm, so I'll have to cut that back this week. And I started attacking some of the vine on the fence. I just had to stop somewhere after I planted the cryptomeria. Yeah, unfortunately, my friends here are coming down or have come down. One got a cold/flu something, and now a second one has that. I think I may be starting. I took a couple of Tylenols so far today, but I'm able to make it through. These, of course, are looking good. The cyclamen, they're very small flowers. I've had bigger, but of course I told you all that's the only one I could get, the only color, the only type. Oh, I did get some snapdragons to put in that pot. Oh, and this is, yes, the other thing I did. I replanted, there were a few gaps. This gardenia hedge that I put in this spring lost quite a lot of plants. You can actually see the new ones that are in there. They're lighter green than the old ones. And I'd say about half of them died this year, so hopefully I'll have better luck with these. And I got rid of all of the vinca. The vinca was just getting too floppy, and the cats were flattening it out even worse, so I figured let's just, ooh, a Dumbledore or bumblebee is working over my plants. So I just moved a couple of potted plants there for now. I was going to put some flowers down there, but I thought in light of the roof construction, I'd wait until after that was done. Oh, the other thing I'm going to have done, let's see if I can get here without the sun shining in your eyes. This little section where the roof juts out over the door has been sagging through the years, and it just barely gives me enough room to clear the door when it's opened. So I have decided to have that ripped out, and the whole roof will be brought back to the size of the original roof. And then I'm going to have a gutter installed here over the deck, so I'll never have water running down my neck again. I don't have gutters on the house, mainly because I used to have 3 big oak trees here, and keeping gutters free of leaves is a pain in the butt, but now I no longer have those trees. So it'll be nice not having this jut out over the door. I am hoping that they're not going to damage my new storm door. I'll put a sign there. I'll have to use the translate. I'll put it in Spanish because the group that comes is Hispanic, which is fine. I'm not saying anything negative about that. I just want to make sure I'll say, don't damage the door, please. But yeah, there you have it. It's been an eventful week. Some gardening took place. I'm trying to think if there's anything of note. I'm probably going to, well, I am going to get rid of this rose-scented geranium. I don't know what it is. I keep looking, but every day something is chomping away on it. So I think I'm just going to call it quits. It never did really well. I had one years ago and it did fabulously well, but I had it in the front porch before I had it glassed in. And it used to get really tall and did really well, but this one just, I've had it now for 2 years. And to be truthful, to look like that after 2 years, it just ain't worth the effort. Time to start calling it quits on some things. Oh, I also did that where I planted the cryptomeria. I had some other plants that I took out that just never performed. The tall pencil, I think it's called sky pencil. It's a type of holly, but they also were looking miserable, and it's so thick back in there that I thought, you know, I don't need them. So I just got rid of them. But there you have it. That's the other thing I'll be concentrating on, is trying to simplify some of the garden. Start getting rid of stuff that doesn't perform. Why waste your time and effort on stuff that doesn't reward you back? That's a nice view over there. The ginger lily, by the way, the queen ginger, its new shoot finally came out without being chomped on by a bug. So that's good. Probably the same thing that was eating. I was told it might be worms, or at least I read that it might be worms, but I never saw them. I mean, I looked. It's obvious you'd see it if it was there, but I never saw anything. So it's either that or the horse lubbers. But there you have it for the day. Trying to think of what would be a nice finishing shot for the day. I guess I'll leave you with a picture of my boiling pot fountain. So until next week, take care and try to get out in your gardens and enjoy them. It's a good time of the year to do that. It's also time for fall planting. And paper whites are going to be coming soon. Yay! Take care for this week. Bye-bye.